No. Oh. Okay, guys, I've never used one of these in my entire life. Yeah. What? This is super weird. It can be a really good thing that I have this or a really bad thing because that means that I can move around. How fun is that? Not fun, okay, fine. Alright, so my name is Dana and I'm speaking tonight. This is fun. So there's been a lot of prayer that has gone into this night, which is good. Because Matt and I are really different, and so he is really good at like having a plan and getting it all written down, and I bring to him all of the things. I'm like, but what if it means this and we should go this direction, or what if it means this, we should go this direction? He's like, just stick to scripture. And so I was like, oh, well, that's what I want to do. And so he would have like 3 and I have like 26, right? So a lot of y'all have a verse. So I will call your name. I wrote your names by your verse, so I'm not going to call you by name. Actually, Tyler, will you grab and like be in charge of the mic so that we can hear them over the speakers when it's their turn? Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I think I'm trying to like get used to this thing. So I'll start off. I'll start off with the song that we're doing and let you know that I actually really enjoy this song, which is fine because we can enjoy these songs even though they're secular songs. But the song that I'm kind of tackling is called "Someone You Love" by Lewis Capaldi. Right? It's like sad, sweet, kind of. I don't know. But I like it, and but it's really interesting because Matt and I were listening to this as he was preparing for one of his other songs that he was going to kind of break down what it says culturally, and I said, oh, I'll do this one. And like, because it's like I like it, but also I can like kind of see and feel what it's talking about. And then as it got closer and closer, life happened, and you're like, oh, okay, God, like now I can see why you wanted me to kind of do this vague shout out of, hey, I'll do that song. And it wasn't in boast or like thinking that I just had it all together. So anyway, we're going to go through that song, and I'm going to break it apart, but I couldn't start this without kind of telling you why I thought that I related to this. And so y'all are wondering what I have in my hand, and y'all can like look at these later. But this is like, this like pulls at the heartstrings of middle school and high school Dana. Like I can see her. In middle school. Y'all may not know this about me, but I had a long period of time where my parents were separated. Praise Jesus, they did not ever get divorced, and that truly is by the grace of God. But in middle school and into like my freshman year, my parents were separated, and I was with my mom a lot. So I didn't see my dad a lot. No issues there, just didn't. And so that affected a lot of my middle school years. And then I could see high school Dana, who was, in 2 of the most atrocious boyfriend-girlfriend relationships ever. They were terrible. And so this song, and it was kind of hard because I had to really battle against the emotional side. I had to battle against the pulling of the heartstrings that this song had, because it really took me to a place that the Lord has redeemed me from. Mm-hmm. He really has. And so that was really difficult. But at the same time, I brought some pictures of me in middle school and high school. Fun, right? And so I brought them because I think that I tell y'all so many times that I am burdened for you. And that is not a bad thing. That is because I love you. Like, I love you so much. And I think about you. And I think that I can, and Matt tells me this sometimes, I can come across as a little bit harsh. But it's because I've already walked some of those roads before, and to see you walk some of the roads that you're walking is devastating to me, because I know that there's something so much better. And so if I ever come across that way, that is probably why. It's not because I'm trying to be mean to you or judge you or criticize you. It's because my love for you is so strong that I don't ever want to see you walk down some of the roads that I walked down as a middle schooler and a high schooler. Like, I just don't. So anyway, I was going to pass these around, but I'm afraid that they would be distracting. So, but they're up here. And the reason I brought them, and it just had me bored because I would have never gone and got these on my own, was just to show you, like, I was in middle school and high school. And, like, there's a specific picture in there that is very, like, it's the one Matt references all the time where I wore, like, the Hollister popped collar and ripped jeans, which were in then and back now. And, which is great, except I threw all of those away because they were ripped in all the wrong places. So, just to say, not all ripped jeans are good jeans. But, y'all can look at these. I wanted to make it real for you. Because y'all see us and y'all see that we're grown, and I think sometimes you think that we can't relate. And that's okay, because for some of us, it's been a short time since we've been in high school. For some of us, like Thomas, it's been a long time since we've been in high school. But either way, we really, really do know what it's like to be in your shoes. And just like the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun. So you may think that we don't understand, but it just looks different now, but it's actually the same things we went through. So, for your pleasure and enjoyment and jokes, there they are. But I was saved when I was 6, but instead of latching to Christ, I began to latch to others. I was starving. I was a believer, but never really had discipleship, never really had a lot of people pouring into my life, and by the time people did try to pour into my life, I was like, please don't talk to me about that. You know, I already got this thing going. I'm this person at church, and I'm this person here, and I'm okay with that, except for when I was in my room, weeping, because I knew that I wasn't where God needed me to be, and yet I couldn't get out of it. It's a really weird place to be, even when you know that there's people who have said, hey, I want to help you. Hey, I have the answers. Hey, I know the truth, and they're trying to help you out, but it's just, you're trapped, and you've allowed the change to come back is the reality. And so, I mean, I was starving and clenching onto anything that I thought brought me satisfaction. Anything. And so, I did get saved at 6, and I had to battle a lot about if I was really saved once I got a little bit older, because high school Dana loved and desired relationship. I had 2 nasty relationships. I mean, nasty. And I don't want to get into the details, not because you don't need to know or I don't feel like you're ready, but because that's not the point. But what happened was, I loved them with a non-Jesus love. And it gave me a very, very unhealthy view of what love is. And it gave me a very, very unhealthy view of what it meant to be taken care of. And it was an emotional love. And it was really tough. And so when things were bad, they were really bad. Like this song, like I actually asked Matt if I could let this one play, but we're trying to like keep it where we're not like we're just trying to break it down. So that's why I said the emotional data. But even just like the start of this song, like the piano, it's literally like this. Like, come and listen to this song, and it literally is like it grips the insides of you, and you're just like, this is the greatest, and the saddest, and it's just so like it just brings you in because the piano is just like so beautiful, and then he starts singing, and his voice is really awesome, and it's like super unique. And I kind of did what Matt did, and I went and looked for a video to see if he talked about what this was about, because your initial thoughts on this song is, he is in this relationship, they had the greatest, most loving, most awesome, emotionally involved relationship, and now she's gone. Okay, so that's what I expected, and then I listened to this video, and he's like, yeah, it's just kind of about any relationship. You know, if you're in this like intimate relationship, or friendship relationship, or somebody you really, really loved has died, and then I'm like, man, this could go a million different ways. Where am I supposed to take this? Let me give you a really big word. Co-dependency. Write it down. It's kind of going to combine week 1 and week 2. It was really neat because just thinking about the song Matt did, the first song Matt did and the second song Matt did, and kind of the overarching themes. And this kind of brings both of those things, which makes sense in the cultural sense. Co-dependency is an excessive emotional or psychological reliance on a partner, typically one who requires support on account of an illness or addiction, and that does not necessarily mean drugs. There are a million different types of addictions. There are relationship addictions where you literally make somebody something that you are addicted to. Like, you cannot stop being around them. You cannot stop. You cannot cut the ties. There are drugs. There is alcohol. There are, like, people get addicted to being sick. What are some other addictions? Yeah, preach. Your phones. You have, like, if you say you can't live without your phone, you have an addiction. You just do, because that is not healthy if it's excessive. And those were the types of relationships that I carried because of the choices that I made and not latching on to Christ. And so let's kind of dig into this. There is a lot of scripture, but they're not very long. So we're gonna go pop, 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 pop. But I'm gonna do it a little bit differently because I wanted you guys to get involved. And so I have handed out some slips of paper. And what I kind of want to do is something that we talk a lot about, and that is battling our emotions with truth. So I'm going to read a section of the song, and then we're going to read a couple of verses that go with that particular section. And the reason I want to do that is to get you involved, but also this is not, it won't build a habit right now, but this is a way to build a habit. Because it'll be like, this is what culture says, this is what Jesus says. This is what culture says, this is what Jesus says. And so we'll break it down like that. So, let's get going. Someone You Loved by Lewis Capaldi. Here is the first verse. I'm going under, and this time I fear there's no one to save me. This all or nothing really got a way of driving me crazy. I know, right? You just want to, like, sing it out loud. This is like a good karaoke song, right? Or like a group song. So, Reagan has the first verse. And it is Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 through 9. And this is going to really talk, I guess let me preface it a little bit. Some of the themes right here we're seeing are fear, needing someone to save me, and not really knowing what's going on is driving me crazy. So here is some scripture that kind of points us in the true direction. Reagan.
For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing, it is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast.
Okay, so sometimes we feel like we need to be saved, and the Bible tells us that we already have been for believers, and that we do have a Savior, and that it's by faith, and that it's by nothing that we can do, because only He can do it. Okay? Rachel has Psalm 46, verses 1 through 3. We're going to be bouncing around a lot, so if you don't feel like you can keep up your Bible, maybe just jot them down and then you'll have them.
God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging.
Yeah, a lot of uncertainty around us, a lot of not knowing what's going on, all or nothing, just not really knowing is driving you crazy. Well, we don't have to fear because Jesus has all of that under control. Okay, Rebecca, Psalms 145, 18 through 19.
The Lord is near to all who call on Him, to all who call on Him in truth. He fulfills the desire of those who fear Him and hears their cry and saves them.
So there's the answer. Like, there's so many times where we're like, who's going to save me? I'm drowning. It says He hears our cries and He saves us. Like, it is giving you the answer. So we have all these questions, like the culture says, who's going to save you? Sometimes it says, save yourself, build up yourself, do better yourself, and be saved. But this says that God hears our cries and He wants to save us. All right, what about Nevaeh? Isaiah 12:2.
Surely God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. The Lord Himself is my strength and my defense. He has become my salvation.
He has become our salvation. He is the defense. He is the answer to the question. So right here, just in this tiny little section, like you feel like you're going under, you're drowning, and the world says to reach out to all of these people to save you. And the Bible says that God is there to save you. He is there to save you. This next part is probably like the part that like really just like clenches to my soul. And it says, and I think it makes me sad. That's why it does. Because it's just this deep longing and crying out. It says, I need somebody to heal, somebody to know, somebody to have, somebody to hold. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kind of liked the way you numbed all the pain. So, before we go into the verses, numb sticks out to me. And numbness can go with a lot of different things. Sometimes we have like you have a pinched nerve, like something in your body starts to feel numb. Well, you're not going to be like, oh, hey, my hand is numb. That's fine. That's not unusual. No, you're going to say something's going on in my body. There's a bigger issue. It's not just the numbness. Okay, so you're going to do some research. There's also numb about like when you're going to have surgery. So if you had a tooth and it was dying in your mouth and it needed to come out, would you want to go to the dentist and just have them numb your gum and be like, okay, see you later? No, why? The problem is still there. So you might be numbed and you're going to feel really, really good for a little bit. You might even go home, you won't be able to talk, like you'll be drooling on yourself because you've got so much of the medicine in your mouth. So you'll be like, oh yeah, this is great. I can't feel that dead tooth anymore. And then 3-ish, maybe less, hours later, you're going to be in excruciating pain. What about if you get in an accident and you hurt your arm and your shoulder is broken and you have to go in and have surgery, or something's broken, you have to have a screw put in, and they give you anesthesia just enough to put you to sleep, and then you wake up and your shoulder's still broken. It might feel okay and you might be asleep for a little while, but is the problem gone? No. You just numbed it. It's not a permanent fix to an inner problem. It feels better for just a moment, but it doesn't solve the bigger issue. We can reach out for healing, or for somebody to just know, or somebody to understand, or somebody to just have sitting there with us, which is great. God designed us for a relationship. But if you just have somebody there to numb the pain, don't you think the pain is just going to come back? It's going to come back. Kira, read Psalm 147, 3-5.
He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. He counteth the number of stars. He calleth them all by their names. Great is our Lord and mighty in power. His understanding is infinite.
Yeah. He understands it all. Every star in the sky, even the stars that just sit there, he knows by name. He binds up the brokenhearted. He mends the broken places. He heals the areas of your soul, and only he can understand. It's infinite. It's forever. What about Isaiah 41:13, Lydia? Oh, sorry.
For I, the Lord, your God, will hold your right hand, saying to you, fear not, I will help you.
Yeah. He's always there. We do have him. He says he's not going to leave us. Deuteronomy 31:6-8 is Andrea.
Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Then Moses summoned Joshua and said to him in the presence of all of Israel, be strong and courageous, for you must go with this people into the land that the Lord swore to their ancestors to give them, and you must divide it among them and as their inheritance. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you, and he will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged.
Yes. Somebody to know, somebody to have, somebody to hold. This is begging for somebody to stay around. Well, Jesus has said so many times, I will never leave you, I will never forsake you. I will never leave you, I will never forsake you. When will we believe him?
That's good.
When? When will we believe him when he says, I will never leave you? Be strong and courageous. That might mean you have to step out and trust him, even if it doesn't feel like anyone is with you. He has promised. We've seen his faithfulness, and we've seen him keep those promises. Grant has Hebrews 13:6.
The Lord is my helper, I will not fear. What can man do to me?
That's right. The Lord is my helper. Man, what can man do to me? Nothing. They can hurt our feelings. Don't get me wrong. People know how to cut us to the very core. People know how to destroy us with words. But words are words, and that is not what God says about you. All right, the last one for that section is Matthew 28:20, and let's see how
Teaching them to observe everything I have commanded you, and remember, I'm with you always, to the end of the age.
Yeah, just that promise that he is with you forever and always, even to the end of the age. People change. People leave. People move. People die. It is part of life. But Jesus remains the same. He is the same today, yesterday, and tomorrow, and forever.
That's right.
It's hard to grasp sometimes. But sometimes we have to take a step of faith just to believe the truth. All right, the next part is, now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kind of used to being someone you loved. So this is where I think that kind of the main theme is, even though I had a really hard time nailing that down, but the one line that says, to get me through it all. When you take the top and the bottom of the song and you meld it all together into the middle, which this is semi in the middle if you don't count all the choruses repeating at the end, it says, I need you to be this for me and this for me, and I'm putting you on this pedestal because I'm counting on you to get me through all of this.
Yeah.
But what happens when they don't live up to your expectation?
Yeah.
What happens? You're destroyed.
Yeah.
You're crushed. You're sitting in your room listening to this song as the piano literally is latching onto your very soul, wondering why in the world they weren't there. Why in the world did you not come? Why in the world did you not bring me healing? You were supposed to be here. You were supposed to know. You were supposed to be here to hold me. You were supposed to be here to cry with me. But you're not here. And now it's nighttime, which we know is worse than daytime. When you're going through loss, whatever that may look like, whether it's death or a relationship or just somebody has let you down or a friend has betrayed you, you've put an expectation on them that they can't hold. They can't carry. Just like you can't live up to some of the expectations that people put onto you that was never intended for you to carry in the first place. Sarah has Philippians chapter 4, 6 through 7. Should be familiar, but listen to it really good.
Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus.
In these times, like when we feel like this, really what we're desiring is peace. Really what we're desiring is a settled heart, a settled soul. And what does it say that he will do? Because it says, I let my guard down. You can't guard your heart on your own. You're not strong enough. You don't have the tools on your own. You need Jesus. And that's what it says. To guard your heart. To help you. What is Proverbs 4:23 through 27? MC has that one.
And above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Keep your mouth free of perversity. Keep corrupt talk from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Be careful. Give careful thought to the path for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or left. Keep your foot from evil.
Yeah. Keep your foot from evil. Keep your eyes straight. Look to the Lord to guard your heart. And then the next one is about guarding your heart too. Proverbs 3:5 through 6 is Sophia. The real Sophia.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight.
We think that we understand it all, but we don't. We think that we have it all together, but we don't. But the Lord does. So don't always lean on your own understanding. Jesus knows what's best for us. He has a better plan. Even as good as we think our plan looks, his plan is always better. His plan is always greater, and he's already gone before us. So he already knows what's coming. All right, these next verses this was the hardest part. This was the hardest part to nail down with the verses because it's talking about love. Well, the whole Bible is about love. And so it's like, where do you even land? So here's just a couple. Literally, this just scrapes what do you call it?
Tip of the iceberg.
Tip of the iceberg or what? Scratches the surface. Should have known that, but I didn't. I think the first one is Jeremiah 31:3, and that is Sierra. Yes. Oh, she's right there. Hey, girl. I just want you to listen. We'll go through these pretty quick because I want you to just listen about the love of Jesus.
Jehovah appeared of old unto me, saying, Yeah, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore with loving kindness have I drawn thee.
The version that I had too said that he lavished his love on us. Special with that word up. It is an extreme pouring out. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I should have wrote that one down. Katie Barley has John 3:16.
For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life.
The greatest love. Bryson has 1 John 3:1.
See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God, and that is what we are. The reason the world does not know us is that it did not know him.
You'll know us by the love that we have because he has given that to us. You have the love of God. He wants you to know it. He wants you to have it. Jaden has 1 John 3:16.
By this we know love, because he laid down his life for us, and we also have to lay our lives down for the brothers.
And then Matt has 1 John 4:16.
So we have come to know and to believe the love that God has for us. God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him.
So if we feel like we're missing out on love, what is love? It was just in his verse. God. That seems like, okay, but what does that mean? But like, God is love. The more you know about God, the more you'll know about love. It's sacrifice. It's lavishing. It's abundant. It's great. It's mighty. It's all of these things that we're reading about. And then what's even greater is this next verse, which is Romans 5:8. Preston has that. Like, this is a big deal that I don't want us to miss because he'll read.
But God proves his own love for us, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us.
God's love is not circumstantial. It doesn't leave you because you mess up. He loved you even when you hated him. He loved you even when you were his enemy. So this I was getting kind of used to being someone you loved was in the past, which means now it's a death. You can't help death. Death is a natural process. But if you're talking about friendships, if you're talking about boyfriend, girlfriend, I was getting kind of used to being someone you loved. That means they did love, and now something has happened, and now they don't love. That's circumstantial. Or I'm mad at you now because you didn't do what I liked, and like we're girlfriend and boyfriend, and so now I'm just going to choose not to love you anymore, and I'm just going to move on, and then you're left in broken shambles. Or friendships where they say, I'm your friend, and I'm not going to talk about you, and you can trust me with anything. You can tell me anything, and I promise I won't tell you. And then you go to your next friend, and you go like, well, she told me not to tell anybody, so you cannot tell anybody. Because she told me not to tell anybody, but I'm going to tell you. And so now you can't tell anybody, because if you tell somebody, then she'll know that I told, even though I told her I wouldn't tell anybody. Right? Right. You kept up. I know. I know. But then they betray you because you find out, because that other person comes back and they do what you did. And then you're mad at them even though you were the one that did it first. That's not real love.
Yeah.
You thought you could trust them. And I'm going to get to the end. We can trust people. But they cannot be our everything. They can't. They can't fulfill the things that you want them to fulfill.
Yeah.
You've put expectations on them that they cannot handle. The last one for this section is Romans 8:35 through 39. Melina has that one.
Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall trouble or hardship or persecution or nakedness or danger or sword? As it is written, for your sake we face death all day long. We are considered as sheep to be slaughtered. No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I am convicted that neither death nor life, neither angels or demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of Christ.
So not only does he love you with a love that's everlasting, nothing can take it away either. It's forever. And I'm hoping that gives you assurance. So then I'm going under, and this time I fear there's no one to turn to. This all or nothing way of loving got me sleeping without you. Now I need somebody to know. This one changes a little bit. Somebody to heal, somebody to have, just to know how it feels. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kind of liked the way you helped me escape. This is going to kind of take us back to where we were about being numb. We're going to talk about escape. We're going to talk about wanting somebody to know what we feel. That's what we want. We want somebody to look and be like, I know exactly how you feel. Because it makes us feel better. It makes us know that we're not alone. It helps us to know. But you can't put your all into that. Because that may not always be there. There might not always be somebody who understands what you're going through. But Jesus does. All right, Hebrews 4:15, Lily has that one. And Hebrews 2:18, Jacob has that one.
We do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who has been tempted in every way as we are, yet without sin.
He has been tempted in every way. Every way.
For since he himself was tested and has suffered, he is able to help those who are tested.
Yeah. He has been tempted and tested in every single way. He is the one who knows just how it feels. So when you ask the question, who in the world knows how this feels? Nobody could possibly understand what I'm going through. Nobody could possibly grasp my aching, my desperation, my hurt, my joys. Maybe it's your joys. Maybe you're like, nobody understands how happy I am. Nobody understands. I want people to be happy. Jesus understands it all. Every trial, every temptation, every persecution. You want to talk about people talking bad about you? If somebody is shaming your name, you don't think somebody knows how that feels? Jesus does. They crucified him. They said, you are not God, and he was God. You're not God, and people just say, you're not good at that sport. Oh, well, they hate me. Well, not everybody's going to like you. And that's hard, but it's okay. But Jesus understands every single piece, every single thing that you're going through, except he didn't sin. Because he didn't sin, just like Jacob said, he can help us. He can give us the right way to do it, the right path to take. Show us the way that's going to lead us to a more righteous life. Bryce, 1 Corinthians 10:13. This is where we're going to start talking about that word escape. It can be good sometimes, but it can be really bad sometimes too.
No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it.
He offers a way out. That's a part of this verse that we miss sometimes, where it says he will not give you, people say, oh, God's never going to give you more than you can handle. Okay, well, sometimes it is, and that's because he needs you to rely on him. Mm-hmm. That's not what the verse says. The verse says you're going to have some really hard stuff that you're going to go through, but when you can't handle it, you're going to have the strength of God that is going to help you handle it. And not only that, you have to move past that where it says, and he's going to give you a way out. He doesn't leave you trying to wonder, how in the world am I going to get out of this? He's going to show you the way out. He is going to give you the escape. The problem with this, I kind of like the way you helped me escape. It's just like numbness. People are limited, so that they can only take you as far as what their eyes can see. Jesus can take you beyond where he's already set the plan into motion for who you are.
Yes.
So yes, escape, it can be good, but it can also be really bad. It can be really bad because sometimes we're trying to escape to try to not fix that problem we were talking about. Sometimes we're trying to escape so that we don't have to deal with things, but that's not what Jesus is saying. He's saying, I want to give you the way out because he is the way. And so he's going to be the one to take you out, to show you out. Just like when you're sitting in the valley, he's not watching you like this, sitting in the valley and like, hey, they're in the valley. No, he's sitting beside you. Or you're sitting on his lap and he's holding you, walking with you and showing you the way out of the valley even when you're in the hardest part and place of your life. He wants to show you the way out. You don't have to do that to try and blind what's going on. Jesus knows. All right, and Theo has Psalm 68:20, and we're almost done.
Our God is a God who saves. The sovereign Lord rescues us from death.
He rescues us. He gives you the escape. He is sovereign. He sees it all. He knows it all. He feels it all. He is all. He is the salvation. He is the escape. All right. We go back in. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. Let my guard down. And then you pulled the rug. I was getting kind of used to being someone you loved. And then the bridge, which is like where everybody's like, right? Because I'm telling you, everybody's like screaming it. And I tend to close my eyes when it hurts. Sometimes I fall into your arms. I'll be safe in your sound till I come back around. And the day bleeds and the night falls like 3 times. Yeah. Right? We want somebody's arms to fall into. We just want to feel safe. We just want to feel loved. We just want to feel cared about. So we close our eyes because it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad sometimes. Right? It's okay to say, yes, I know. It hurts sometimes. But what if that person's not there for you to fall into their arms? What if you're sitting in your room by yourself and you don't have anybody's arms to fall into? Then what? Jesus. Jada has Luke 15:20. and then Thomas, and then Cameron.
And he arose and came to his father. But when he was still a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion. And he ran and fell onto his neck and kissed him.
Prodigal son, right? We know this story. The father had his arms open. And he was ready to receive him, even though he had been gone and he had destroyed everything that his father had given him. Everything. Who knows what he was involved in? Matt talked about this too. Who knows the parties he was at, the people he was involved with, the things that he did. The father didn't care because he loved him and he wanted him to fall into his arms. Thomas, Exodus 6:6.
Therefore tell the Israelites, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from forced labor of the Egyptians and rescue you from slavery to them. I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and great acts of judgment.
He wants to rescue you with an outstretched arm, leading you out of whatever you think you're too caught in, and whatever you think you're too deep in, and whatever you're holding on to. Maybe you lost somebody and you can't let it go. Maybe you're just grieving. Let us grieve with you. Let him grieve with you. He understands. Then Cameron has Deuteronomy 7:19.
The great trials that you saw, the signs and wonders, the strong hand and outstretched arm by which the Lord your God brought you out. The Lord your God will do the same to all the peoples you fear.
He has his arms out. I'm going to list a couple more, but I'm gonna close up. But I'll write these down because these talk about how the Lord is our refuge, how he is a fortress, which is a hiding place, how he wants to wrap you up and cover you with the shadow of his wings. Psalm 32:7. Psalm 17:6-9. Psalm 27:5. And Psalm 31:20. And a million more. So many more. He has his arms open. Stop looking for the people to wrap you up. They might be there. And this, while I close this out, if I can have somebody pass these out really quick. Sorry, you're just the first person I saw. Thank you. Some of the questions we might ask is, does this mean I'm not supposed to have any relationships? You know, how do I do life with people if I can't depend on them and trust them? That's not the issue. God designed us for a relationship. God created us in his image. God designed us to be in relationship with him. God gave us a way to be in relationship with him. And he gave us people to do life with as we are in relationship with him. If not, why would the greatest commandment be to love God and love people? If you're not meant for relationship, then why would you need to love anybody or anything? He designed it, but the problem is that we make relationship into what we think it should be. We put expectations on people that they cannot handle because only God can fulfill that place in your heart. You see, when you try to make people the thing that fulfill you, you're sitting in your room weeping because this song is your life. You're sitting in your room wondering where you went wrong in that relationship. You're sitting in your room blaming yourself for every single thing because all you want is for that person to be back, and if you could only have done this or only done that. I put my life in the hands of two people that I let destroy my life. Because I made them my everything. I lost all my friends because I gave them up. I lost a lot of other things because I chose them to be more important than anything else. I did not have a healthy relationship with Jesus, and I sat in my bed every night weeping and telling God how sorry I was, and all I wanted to do was get out, but I couldn't because I was not allowing him to fill the holes in my heart, and I was still trying to just squeeze as tight as I could and hold on to these relationships that did not love Jesus. So how could they point me to him? It's not worth it. A lot of us leaders in here have walked a lot of different paths. Let those paths be closed up and don't walk down them anymore because we already have. Can you just let the trees overgrow those paths that we've already walked and that we're trying to pour into your life? Can you just let us take that for you? You're going to have enough other trials in your life that you're going to have to deal with. Let us just take those because the Lord has redeemed those areas of our life, and we want to see you go down the beautiful paths of Jesus. There's something better. So, both of these songs make